Back in August of 2019, Gaijin announced that some German vehicles were being removed from War Thunder. Anyone that had them researched could still use them, and if you put a single research point in one of the vehicles you could research at any time, but they would be removed from the German tech tree after a certain date. These vehicles were the Panther II, 105mm Tiger II, Coelian, and Mouse. People were, to put it mildly, not very happy with this decision. There was a lot of confusion surrounding why these vehicles were being removed in the first place, and that confusion persists to this day. People seem to think that all these vehicles were removed purely for historical reasons, which isn't really the case. After I got a bunch of like-minded comments on my M6A2E1 video, I figured I should try to help clear things up a bit. First, we're going to be taking a look at the vehicles that were removed for historical reasons. The 105 Tiger II, the Panther II, and the Coelian. The Panther II, as is implemented in War Thunder, is a complete fabrication. So is the 105 Tiger II. The actual Panther II was essentially just a Panther with thicker armor. It was going to receive the Schmelterm turret, but not the one with an 88mm cannon. The Schmelterm with the 88mm cannon was a proposal for the regular Panther, created long after the Panther II was cancelled. That turret also has a different shape to it, which the in-game Panther II doesn't have. In-game, it just uses a regular turret with an 88 slapped into it, which wouldn't have really worked. The engine is the HL234, which was one of several proposed engines for the Panther II. It was never mounted in the vehicle, and I'm not sure if it was ever officially selected. It is essentially an amalgamation of design proposals which weren't actually built. The 105 Tiger II is in a similar boat. It's based off of a proposal to mount a 105mm cannon to a modified Tiger II turret. It wasn't supposed to have a rangefinder or the HL234 engine. The design was cancelled pretty early into the concept phase because it simply wasn't feasible. In order to load it in such a tight space, it would have used 2-piece ammunition. Of course, for that they also wanted a second loader, for which there was absolutely no room. So there's already no space in the turret, but Gaijin decided to add a rangefinder to it as well. This was a separate design that also never made it onto a prototype. As though the rangefinders themselves were made, the new turrets were not. In War Thunder, even when the gun isn't depressed, it clips into the rangefinder. In order for it to not do that, the gun actually has to be elevated a couple of degrees. A single HL234 is mounted in the Tiger II testbed, but again, it was never meant to be used in conjunction with these other proposals. The Coelian is the most historically accurate of the three, since it does follow the actual design proposal and the hull existed, but the turret did not. The turret only got as far as a wooden mock-up. In my opinion, the Panther II and 105 Tiger II being removed makes sense. When it comes to adding so-called paper vehicles to War Thunder, I'm fine with them as long as they meet certain conditions. 1. Was it an actual design? 2. Were at least some of the major components for it built? 3. Was the design actually feasible to build? And 4. Does the tech tree really need it? Both of those tanks only meet one of those conditions. I guess you could make an argument for the Panther II filling a gap in the tech tree, but there are a few vehicles that could be added to replace it. The 105 Tiger is just a side grade to the regular Tiger II. You get a tiny increase to penetration, faster range estimation, and a slight boost to acceleration at the cost of a double reload rate. Gaijin could add the HL234 testbed, and you would get the main benefit without any of the downsides, while also being historically accurate. I honestly don't think the Coelian should have been removed, especially since the Oswin II is even more paper than it. So to answer a few questions from my M6A2E1 video, no, they're not comparable. The M6A2E1 in War Thunder is a vehicle that was actually built. The only difference is that it has an armor plate added onto it, an armor plate that was intended for the vehicle, but wasn't added because test priorities changed, not because it wasn't feasible. And finally, onto why the mouse was removed. The mouse was fully built and functional at one point, so why did it get lumped in with all these unbuilt designs? To put it simply, because it doesn't fit into War Thunder. It simply could not be balanced. Not even BRT compression would have helped it. If it was down-tiered, it would encounter tanks that would have absolutely no chance of penetrating it anywhere, but at its current battle rating, it faces tanks that are exponentially better than it. So to keep new players from being frustrated when getting it, Gaijin made it so they could no longer be researched. Also, according to Gaijin, since it's a rare and iconic vehicle, it should be more like an event vehicle. When Gaijin wants to add a tank that might be useless, they make it an event vehicle, so that normal players will complain about it being useless. The act of making it an event vehicle turns it into a gimmick basically. So no, despite what everyone claims, the mouse was not removed because it was a prototype. You see this claim everywhere. If you want the mouse back in the tech tree because you think it can be balanced, that's fine. Just don't spread false information about why it was removed in the first place. That's all I have to say on that subject for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.